Welcome back everyone to another video here on the channel. How are we all doing today? We've got a big one for you. This is the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. The jewel in the calendar here for Mar Drive Season 2. Obviously our homemade career mode on Le Mans Ultimate. And we are about to get underway. We've got the full day-night cycle. We've got weather in the air, as you can see. Some of the cars looking quite damp already, but everyone is starting on dries, and we are about to get underway. We have Bennett and Kubica up at the front of the field, followed by some more of the Ferraris. We, unfortunately, due to the random grid order, are down in 18th place, so a lot of work for us to do. But we have 2 hours and 24 minutes to get the job done. Obviously, double points here for the extended race. So, important to score as highly as possible. You know, we've got Buemi, Fuoco and Chatan not too far behind us in the Drivers' Championship. But as we come through the final few corners now, Bennett will lead us underway, and it is green at Le Mans for 2.4 hours. Diving down towards the first corner, we've got Conway up our inside, followed by some BMWs and some Porsches. We're going to have to just stick behind them for the moment, but we're going to dive down the inside of Conway, dive down the inside of Rasmussen as well. Can we get the job done? Over the curves we go, and around the outside of turn 3 we go. We get blocked in there by the Peugeot of Muller. And have to stick behind, and Conway comes around our outside and re-overtakes that position, so we're making up some positions, losing some positions, and we're just going to have to sit behind them for now. Hitting the cone there slightly, as we've got Matt Campbell right behind us. Through Techeroos we get a pretty good run, and the fight between Conway and Rasmussen is going to hold them up, and we're going to go down the inside on the inside of the track there, bouncing all over the place. And Campbell is going to follow us through down towards the first chicane. Can he get the move done? We've got more battles behind between the BMWs and the Cadillacs. Campbell's teammate of Estra looking for a way past, but Campbell is past the Buemi and follows us through. That is us up into 15th place. Wild start to this race already. It is going to be a fierce battle all the way to the end. We've got, as you see there, Buemi in the background trying to get past Rasmussen still. We've got the Van Wall of Dillman just up ahead. We've got to have some cameo appearances in this race. The Van Walls and Glickenhausers, and the Van Wall being quite a slow car. We're going to have to look to get past him as soon as possible. The rain is already coming down. See our wipers working away. We're going to go inside, outside, down towards Mulsanne Corner. Can we move done? We are up past Tom Dillman and into 14th place. Matt Campbell's just going to have to sit behind him for now. A really important move. The Van Wall's very slow round here. Well, very sorry, really. But especially around here. There's action all the way up and down the field. We've got Conway's teammate of Buemi looking to get past teammate of Bortoletti. So not a good, random grid order placing for Lamborghini Toyota. The Porsches as well, very low down. We've got Campbell behind us, and then right in the background there you can see the number 6 and number 4 of Estra and Jamne battling there. And it looks Buemi's going to dive down the inside of Bortoletti. Doesn't quite get the move done, but we make a mistake there into Arnage. And that's going to let Campbell get right to the back of us down towards the Porsche curves. Can he get anything done? Looks like he's just going to have to stay behind for now. And as the rain continues to pour, these Porsche curves are going to get more and more difficult. Best corners in the world, in my opinion, the Porsche curves. Absolutely fantastic to drive through. And we've made some subtle changes to make the car a bit softer, a bit more compliant, a bit more reliable. Still quite busy in places, but a lot more easy to drive, which is what we need for a longer race like this. And if you do enjoy the idea of longer races, then please let me know down in the comment section below. As for season 3, I might do some more long ones, and I'm looking to do some charity races, be longer duration as well. And we're already done with lap 1 here. Many more to go as we chase down the Peugeot of Muller ahead, and we've got Matt Campbell right behind us. Already looks like he's dinged up the front of that Porsche just a little bit, so he might be in for some repairs when we get to the first pit stops. I think typically about 6 laps we can do with the fuel modifiers we have on. And Matt Campbell is really on our gearbox here down towards Tetra Rouge. But it's just going to have to stay behind for now. As we're going to look onto the back of Muller. Obviously we've had issues with the Peugeots before. Will we be able to get past this Peugeot okay? He forced us down into the inside, but it looks like we might have just got the move done. And up into 13th place we go. We've got Bortoletti ahead of us, who was just being hampered there a little bit by Toyota when we overtaking him. So can we now get onto the back of him? We're sat in the slipstream, we've got a bit of a lower downforce setup, but then perhaps the AO might be running. And we're going to look down the inside of the second chicane. Can we get the move done? It's going to be a matter of late braking here, but Bortoletti is going to brake even later than us. Obviously having the confidence there, and is going to retain 12th position for now. But we'll have to keep an eye on this weather. As it rains more and more, we're going to go down the inside, down towards the Mulsanne corner. We get pushed right to the inside by our teammate. Can we get the move done? It's, tooth and nail fighting here, but we get the move done and up into 12th place, slowing it down nicely for Mulsanne corner. Our teammate did not want to give us the position there. Bit unfortunate, but we are up and chasing down one of our closest championship rivals of Buemi ahead. So it'd be important to get past him. Obviously, we're now only a position or two away from the points, and with this extended race, we have a double point offer. Much like in real life, winning the Le Mans gives you a lot more points than say a standard race, or in our case, a sprint race. You know, maybe in next season we'll have more of these extended races, more points on offer. But that is for another time. Kubica has taken the lead of the race in all that chaos, and now has a 4-second lead over the Glickenhaus of Umar, followed by the first of the factory Ferraris of Fuoco. Bennett is still in fourth for now, and he's being followed by Guidi and Will Stevens in the first of the Porsches. There is Felipe Durrani in the first of the Cadillacs, followed by Maliu, the Glickenhaus. This battle just up ahead here with Maliu, Van der Zande, Nazar, Buemi, and then ourselves just a little bit off at the back of the pack there, coming through the 4 chicane here. We're going to look to get ourselves involved in that battle for 8th place and start getting ourselves up into the points, hopefully. And once this race starts to settle down, we'll look up and down the pack to find some good battles that are going on. But for now, we're just going to stick on board with ourselves in case anything wild or crazy happens. Got our teammate behind us being chased down by the second of the Toyotas of Conway. So it'll be interesting to see if Conway's got the straight line speed. It looks like he does at the moment. He pulls to the outside. Can he get the move done down into the first chicane? Getting a little bit of slipstream off of us, and there's a battle there. You can see 2 by 2 as they come down towards first chicane. We're just a little bit way off this battle, but if they keep battling this, we'll be sure to join it very soon. And Van der Zande has got past the Glickenhaus. That puts him now in the path of Felipe, Nazar, Buemi, and then ourselves. We get a brilliant run through the first chicane there. as Felipe Nasr is going to look to overtake him into the second chicane. Are we going to follow him through? We dive down the inside of Buemi. We get hit there a little bit and go down the inside of Malu, and we've spun. Absolute disaster there. We got a bit too optimistic on the brakes. Malu turned into the corner and we were there, and unfortunately we've spun there. Hopefully, I don't think that's too much damage, and we'll see if we pit at the end of this lap. But not what we did. Although it's a longer race today, if you look at the front of the field, well, if you look where we are really down in, what's that, 26th place, there's 20 odd seconds to the leader. That's not an easy amount of time to make up, especially if the leader is just out in clear air, doesn't have any traffic, doesn't have to battle anyone. And that is not a mistake. Well, we don't really want to be making any mistakes at this stage of the race. And we're now going to have to get our head down to try and recover. We've got the Porsche there, the Peugeot even, of Van Dorn, I believe, make a move past Neil Jarni up into 24, I think. We're going to be looking to follow him through. Don't know whether Jarni has a bit of an issue there, or whether the Peugeot just caught one of the wares. See, it's getting very, Jarni making a huge mistake on the entry to the Porsche curves. And we'll be hoping to capitalise on that. You see Jarni just all over the place as he struggles to put power down. And are we going to dive into the pits? No, we're not going to dive into the pits. So it looks like, in terms of any damage that we might have occurred from that incident at the second chicane, will be very minimal. Might have to do some repairs at the pit stop, but that is in a couple of laps' time. Just trying to survive at the moment in these dampening conditions. Everyone starting on the softs here today. So the best tire really to be on in these slightly damp conditions, but as the rain continues to come down, especially if it starts to increase in intensity, that we might be having to make a early pit stop onto some wet weather tyres. A good run there through Tetra Rouge. Can we get into the slipstream of Neil Jarni and look for a move into the first chicane? We've got a really good run there. You hear our engine screech away in 7th gear. We're going to look to provide defence. We're now going to get some slipstream assistance from Van Dorn and get the move done and up into 20th position. Already restarting our recovery drive very well there. Making good of the first overtaking opportunity, and we're now going to look to get past one of our rivals in the Peugeot. We had very heated battles with them in Season 1, and they seem to have kept that grudge somehow into Season 2. We're going to look for a move down into the second chicane. We're just going to stay behind them for now, as Neil Jarni gets very close to hitting the back of us there. We get a good run through the second chicane, and now down towards Horsan Corner. Can we get a move done? We're going to be looking towards the inside, switching to the outside. Can we get the move done around the outside? Looks like we've just got enough straight line speed to just edge ahead of Van Dorn then. And up into 20th place we go. Big gaggle of cars here up ahead. It's important to try and make our way through them as quickly as possible. Because every lap we, we're losing time battling. Just for, we're already 22 seconds behind Kubica. So really we need, if we have any chance of winning this race or any hope of winning this race, we need Kubica at the front to have a bit of an issue, perhaps. Because it's just chaos, cars everywhere. We're going to look to see if we can use this chaos to our advantage. On the run down towards the Porsche curves. How slippy are they this time around? Obviously this is one of the big issues with a track so big as the one. We're going to look to make a move there, potentially no, just I'm to stay behind Jaminet in one of the additional entries of the Porsche this race. See, they are really struggling with traction and almost losing it there. And we're going to focus on getting a good run down towards the Ford chicane. Very place to overtake though, so we might just have to stay behind. And we're actually going to dive into the pits, so diving into the pits very early. I think we have decided that it is wet enough for some wet tyres. And into the pits we come for our very first pit of this race. Might have some repairs to make as well. So we'll have to see how we get on when the other drivers hit. But while we are in our pit stop, we're going to have a look to see what's happening up and down in the rest of the field. We have Matthew Jaminet here chasing down Earl Lambert for 22nd place. There's a bit of a battle going on here. We've got a BMW of Bandon, I believe, who is chasing down the Alpine of Chatham. Kevin Estra is ahead of them in I'm not sure what position he's in because the timing board seems to be freaking out a little bit as it cycles through the bottom field, but we have Rasmussen here, who's chasing Chatham. He has Van der Linde behind him, so his teammate of Van Thor, who was further down in the BMW. Bortoletti, our teammate, is in 13th place. We have Maliu, who's fallen down into 12th place now. He is chasing Will Stevens in the Jota Porsche. We have the two Toyotas here making a move. We've got Conway looking for a move past Felipe Nasser down into Mulsanne corner. Can he get the move done around the outside? Nasser's going to push him wide, but that's not matter to Conway. He's going to go right round the outside and up into 8th place. Is that going to give his teammate of Bohemia a chance down into Indianapolis? Is that going to give him a chance to overtake and follow through his teammate? See, it's really raining down now, so might be expecting some more cars in at the end of this. He looks to the outside, looks to the inside, down towards Indianapolis. Can he get the move done? Just have to stick behind the Porsche for the time being. But the good news is the Toyota and Ferrari look like they've got pretty good straight line speed here. Obviously you tune your car for that straight line speed. We've got Bennett here, who I think will be struggling for some straight line speed, has fallen down into 7th place already from leading all the way. Van der Zande is in 6th place following Felipe Durrani in the Wayland Cadillac. Cadillac seem to be having a pretty good race here so far. Have to see if they can maintain their good pace, but we have some GT3 here. I think just one or two, but this Corvette has really held up Felipe Durrani to the point where Van der Zande looks like he might be able to get past him, slipping and sliding all over the place as they come towards the pit stops. But it looks like, well, we've got the Glickenhaus in actually. Looks like they might be coming in for some wet tyres, maybe just for their standard fuel stop anyway. And that means that we have a 1, 2, 3 at the front for Ferrari. We have the F Corsa Ferrari of Robert Kubica leading them away, and it's really, really wet now. You hear how attentive he's had to be on the throttle there. So I think these guys at the front might have been, they've pitted, as pretty much the rest of the field behind them have pitted. We've got Buemi has continued on along with Will Stevens and his teammate Rasmussen, and the Porsches of Matt Campbell and Kevin Estra. I would imagine the Alpine as well of Chattans. So there's a good mix of cars that have pitted and haven't pitted. We've got both Glickenhauses in the pit. Felipe Naz in the 2023 Porsche, so no difference, but maybe there's a slight difference in fuel usage or energy usage between the 2023 Porsche and the 2024 Porsche. We have the Wayland Cadillac and the Cadillac of Van der Zander in as well. They just pits now. Azota Fischini, our teammate Bortoletti, the other Toyota of Mike Conway, some of the Peugeots, some of the Alpine. So it's like some of the teams are splitting their strategy here. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on. We are coming through the Porsche curves now on our wet tyres. Obviously, I think we had a bit of damage to repair. It'll be interesting to see where we come out in and amongst these cars that have pitted. So we've still got BMW in the pits, Cadillac in the pits. We're now going to come through the Ford chicane. I think that Cadillac must have had quite a bit of damage, because that was the Caddy that was right at the front of the field. And we have come past all three of those cars in the pits and are now up into a 24th position. So bear in mind that we had to repair some damage. I think that's pretty good. I think quite a few of the other cars might have had to repair some of that as well. It's important to note, I think the race occurred before one of the recent patches with wet weather. AI might do some funky stuff, but we'll have to wait and see. You see our full headlights on as it starts darker and darker. Obviously half of this race will be in the night, and then we'll get the golden hours in the morning when the sun starts to rise. And driving at night time, quite a bit of a different challenge, so it'll be one that I look forward to sharing with you guys as we make our way through the night. So we are making our way to the field now, looking to see which cars have made their pit stops. I believe Cadillac and Toyota we had there have made their stops, and I think this might be, yeah, the Glickenhaus I think is the first of the cars to be on the wet weather tyres. What the cars ahead are dealing with. A very wet track here on the 94 Peugeot. Obviously the track being so large that, you know, we've seen it in real life, it can be dry in one spot, very damp in another. If you time that changeover too late, too early, can really affect you. All these cars flipping inside their way through the Porsche curves as we've got all the leaders in the pit lane now. You see how slow they're having to go. Obviously these cars must be on the dry tyres, and I would imagine the Porsche of Jaminet, the BMW there of Van Thor, are on the wet tyres perhaps because it gets so much speed there, so much pace. But we can see who comes into the pits. Oh no, they all come into the pits, so it must have just been a mistake there by old Bamber that's left Jaminet up past him up into 10th position, that is, I think, at the moment. We've got some of the other Porsches ahead coming into the pit stops. There's lots of GT3s in as well. We have some of our leading Ferraris there. A bit of a traffic jam in front of the Air Corsa Ferrari as the Jotas come into pits. And we are expecting this car here, the AF Corsa Ferrari, to be one of the first to be released. Pushed out at a 45-degree angle, and away they go on some wet tyres, able to give them a bit more traction than what they had before. See one of the Ferraris there away in second place. It looks like the second Ferrari is being held up quite a bit. As everyone now changes onto the wet weather tyres, we're going to follow Follow the Ferraris. We've got Kubica now retained the lead. Fuoco behind in second place, so still a Ferrari 1-2. We will wait and see. It is Ferrari 1-2-3 still, but the Toyota of Mike Conway, who I think pitted a lap early, right on the back now. And in all this commotion, we have managed to get our way up into a good position here. As I'm just trying to find where we are on the track. I think here we come through now. There's going to be a Porsche. Here we go down the inside of the Porsche into the Dunlop chicane, and that is us up into 7th position. So we've made really good gains there. We were 32 seconds off the back of Kubica, just about 12 seconds there, probably with repairs. But in terms of position, pitting early onto those wet tyres has really helped us. It might be crucial for our race. We made the mistake on, but I think that might have just been a golden opportunity for us. We've got Chatan ahead of us following Buemi, and then we have the battle between Conway and Pierre Guidi for the podium position. A few bits of traffic now starting to affect the hypercar field. Obviously lots of nice straights to do, overtakes on here, but there might be the occasional moment where we find traffic in the corner, and that could really hamper the overtaker or the overtakee. So as nightfall begins, we are up into 7th position, and behind us we have Kevin Estra and his teammate of Campbell there, who's trying to get past a BMW GT3 car. Actually, three Porsches in a row with Jaminet behind them. The first of the BMWs is in 11th place of Van Thor, and he is being chased down by Glickenhaus of Malu and Earl Bamber, who's looking to make a move down the inside, down towards Mulsanne Corner. Doesn't quite get the move done. Is that going to put him under threat from Neil Jarni? Not quite. And Bamber will just have to try again down towards Indianapolis. See that beautiful V8 roaring away in the back of the caddy. Well, we've got Jarni in the slipstream behind, pulling ever so close to us, but it's going to be too far behind to move into Indianapolis. It'll be interesting to see how long this rain lasts for. Could be quite a long time. And even if it's not, it might take a little while for it to dry out. But no, drives down the inside of Arnage. Can he get the move done? Can he get the traction out of the corner? Obviously, both these cars rear-wheel drive only. It doesn't quite get the traction. But there are some GT3 cars as they come down towards the Porsche curves. Will that have any influence? No, not quite, although John does get caught up behind a few of them and maybe loses him some time. And Bambit is going to have to claw his way back up to the back of the Glickenhaus. If we look behind this battle, let's see what's happening further down the field. We've got the Van Wall there trying to make his way past the Corvette and the BMW. So even though Van Wall's quite slow, I think it can go quite a long way on its fuel. And is currently in 15th place, so not too bad from it being last. We have, I believe it's the first of the Jotas? Yeah, first of the Jotas of Stevens. He's followed by his teammate of Rasmussen. Dumas, who's really fallen down the pack with Van der Zande as well. Both Cadillacs. I think the other Cadillac is quite fun as well. Two French cars of the Alpine and the Peugeot, they're not having a good race. Nazar as well, being followed by Bennett all the way down in 28th place. Our teammate as well having a horrendous time of it. And the wheeling Cadillac of Felipe Durrani, who was, up in, what was it, 5th, 6th place, is now right at the back. We've got the BMW as well of Van der Linde right at the back, so must have been quite a bit of damage for them too. We'll cycle back up the field and see what we can find. There is a mammoth battle here between the Cadillac, who I think just hit the McLaren a little bit. He's going to be overtaken by Neil Jarney. So really unfortunate there for El Bamba. But it looks like the front of this Porsche is quite banged up as well. He's going to keep the position ahead of the Cadillac. He's going to stay behind the GT3 Ferrari at the moment. That Glickenhaus getting really lucky with traffic at the moment. Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? He's just going to stick behind him as he puts the traction down. Is that going to give the Glickenhaus, the Cadillac, even an opportunity? Down towards the second chicane, he's going to sit in the slipstream. V8 versus V8 here, but obviously Porsche being twin turboed, the Cadillac being naturally aspirated. And as they drive down towards the second chicane, Jarney's just going to stay ahead for now. But you see the rear end that's stepping out of the Bhutan competition Porsche. Move back field a little bit. We've got the trio of Penske Porsches here. Jaminet following quite closely to Campbell, who is a little bit off the back of Estra. Estra is chasing us down, and probably the gap between us is about 3 seconds, and it's about 2 seconds between myself and Shatana. Sunrise or sunset even, you see glistening around this beautiful track. We come across a BMW GT3 there, right in the middle of Indianapolis. Not what we wanted. Won't be helping our charge towards Chatan. But down at R9 we finally get the move done. And oh. We're going to sit on board with ourselves for a little while now, enjoying the sights and the sounds of the Le Mans 2.4 hours, enjoying ourselves weaving through traffic. Around the outside there of the Porsche curves, just hanging on. And we're just going to get stuck behind the GT3 Ferrari here for the moment, looking around the outside of the Porsche curves. Can we get the move done? We tentatively on the accelerator there. Get the move done. So difficult if you get caught in the Porsche curves, or if you catch some traffic in the Porsche curves, to overtake, because you don't usually want to get past them, not lose time. But there is a lot of risk involved in overtaking there. And all that, we've lost another 8-10 seconds to Kubica. So Kubica's really having a time of his life up at the front of the field. Hasn't had anyone to really battle since he got the lead right at the start of the race. And this is exactly what Ferrari want for their Constructors' Championship. If we remember correctly, Ferrari is leading the Manufacturers' Championship, but is actually second place in the Teams' Championship to Toyota. So it should be a good haul of points for them here today if they can continue this 1-2-3. Obviously, I think Ferrari would prefer Fuoco Guidi to be leading instead of the AF Corse, my customer team. But there's still a long way to go in this race. We're only about half an hour in. Seems like maybe it stopped raining, but still some dampness on the track. We'll see a few spots there on the windscreen, but nothing too heavy. Obviously, as we go into the night and it's colder, it'll take longer for that dry line to form. So we might be on the wets for a little while now. It seems like we've got pretty good pace on these wets. You know, we saw, obviously in Portimao we had good pace. If it wasn't for the mistakes in the wet conditions. Didn't have any patches at Spa, but we seem to be pretty good in the wet compared to the AI. So you're just gaining loads there in the Mulsanne corner. So maybe Chatan's struggling with damage there as well. We will have to wait and see how long it is before we get past him. Get stuck behind the Alpine. Here, obviously the home track. They'll be wanting to do well. We've got Estra not too far behind us actually. So it looks like the Porsches have pretty good pace at the moment. Hopefully they can utilise that and pull themselves up the front of the field. At the moment it's been dominated by the non-hypercars. No Daytona hypercars up in the top 5, but we're looking to change that shortly. We're going to look already down. We've got a brilliant run through Arnage. We're going to look down towards the Porsche curves. Can we get the move done? Not quite. I think we're just going to have to stay behind for now. But we're right on the gearbox of Chatan. We're going to try and look around the outside of the curves, down the inside. We're just going to have to brake there. No move quite happening. But we are definitely closing in through the exit of the Porsche curves. Do we get a good run? We get a really good run there. We're going to look perhaps down the inside of the Ford chicanes. Can we get the move done? Flash lights away there. Can't quite get it done, and we're just going to have to stay behind it, but we're so close, and Chatan must have damage because he's slowed right down, and that is backing us into Kevin Estra there. Now out of the final corner we get a good run down towards the Dunlop chicane. Can we get the move done? We're just edging ahead side by through turn 1, and as Chatan gets onto the slippy stuff he has to back off and up into 6th position. We'll drop back onto Chatan to see if Estra following through just as quickly. You know, we're right in the night time now. Very dark, especially with the rain. Difficult to see apexes. And is Kevin Estra going to have enough speed down the Mulsanne to get past him? Sitting right in the slipstream, gaining, almost pushing along. He looks to the inside. The Alpine covers him off. Can he get the move done? Who's going to be later on the brakes? It's going to be really close down into the chicane. Who can get the move done? Looks like Kevin Estra just is ahead. And follows us through into 7th position, so a great move there by the first of the Penske Porsches. Chatan really struggling in the wet conditions, so I have to see how he gets on through the nights and how Campbell and Chamonix catch up to him. And here we get into the slightly difficult bit of the night to commentate, where Orbi headlights, and we have Buemi and Conway ahead of us. You see lights flashing there on the puddles. Conway hasn't actually been dropped by Pierre. He's still a few seconds behind, but you know, with traffic it's not an insurmountable gap. Fuoco ahead, still about 8-9 seconds behind this man, the leader of all the laps so far of Robert Kubica. Wouldn't it be great to see Kubica win here around this legendary racetrack? But there's still a long way to go. You know, we wouldn't have even started a standard race yet, and already so much action has happened. Fall back down the grid now. We try and find some loose battles. Estra there has really dropped Chatan, who has fallen back into the clutches of Campbell. I think Jamine isn't too far behind either in the red fins special livery for Le Mans. Van Thorp in the BMW just outside the top 10 comes next, and the battle between Jarny, what was Jarny and Bamber, but I think Bamber, who is still behind Malyu, has lost out to Will Stevens as well. Perhaps Bamber having some quite significant damage, and another Cadillac will be falling out of contention in this race. Kind of just typical Cadillac things, really. They always seem to have pretty bad luck in these events, especially in real life. We've got Oliver Rasmussen down in 16th place, being chased by Dumas, who was being chased by, well, I think that is Van Wall, who's actually lost a few positions, and then the second Cadillac, Van der Zande, coming through there. Peugeots again, right down the back of the field, not good in their home race. We've got Felipe Durrani here, a little battle actually between Felipe Durrani, the Alpine of Lapierre, and our teammate. See if we can go on board with our teammate down towards the Porsche curves, chasing the Alpine of Lapierre. Some traffic to get involved with as well. We'll jump on board with the Alpine as he's chasing the Wheel and Cadillac, just going to get blocked up there behind the back of the... And will the McLaren give our teammate the chance to go around the outside? It looks like he's spun. Our teammate there has spun. A disaster there for Horsenetti. We are in the pit lane currently, as Lapierre still struggling to get past the Inception McLaren there. Our teammate getting going in the right direction. I think he should have survived all right there without too much damage, but not ideal at all. Obviously quite far the pecking order already. Now we have a gaggle of cars coming into the pit lane. And we're going to cycle our way up. I think we might be in the pit lane already. I think we've left yet. Oh no, we might have left like that actually. There we are, we've left the pit lane. And we are on our way. Again now, I think we're down in, I think, about 12th position. I think the timing board here on the left hand side has freaked out a little bit. So we will try and get that to update. Still saying that we're in the pits. Unsure why that is happening. So a little bit of a delay there on the pit board, but nevertheless, 13th place we're in. But Will Stevens ahead. All these guys that yet to pit. Nil Jarny. I think if we go on board, we're on board with Van Thor here. See, it's still quite damp. I think we've gone on to wet tyres, I think, again. I think it's still a little bit too damp for completely dry tyres. So we'll have to wait and see what everyone else does. Again, there might be some issues with perhaps some of the AI pitting onto wet tyres, but we will have to wait and see on that. We'll make our way up the field to the front as we have the Ferraris of Kubica and Pierre Guidi into the pits. Maybe while they're in the pits, we will just take some time to try and fix this leaderboard. There we go. Looks like we have at least brought it up to speed a little bit more. So, top 5 into the pits. I imagine the Porsches will soon follow as well. We've got Estra into the pits. Let's see if our fix has fixed the pit issue. Pretty much there. Into the pits, Estra comes, followed by Campbell and Jamley. So Porsche doing really well. You know, they were all at the bottom, so at the start of the race, made that slightly earlier pit stop, and it seems to have really helped them out. They've kind of had the opposite effect to what Cadillac have had, where Cadillac have just fallen down the field. We're on board with ourselves now as we come towards the Porsche curves. Interesting how Lamborghini doesn't have any lights in it and other cars do. Obviously quite far into the night now. Some of the circuits obviously lit up with the street light and other bits, not so much so, still very difficult, very damp. See, taking it very cautiously as we almost lose it there. Big slide. But at this point in time, we're just trying not to make mistakes, try and make it to the end in one piece and see who else makes it to the end with us. Going through the forward chicanes there. We'll be coming on to the start of what would be a standard race in about 8 minutes time. And I think at the front of the field we might have had a bit of a change. So we go past the Porsches and we've actually made quite a bit of time up and now are on the back of Pierre Guidi. So it looks like potentially Pierre Guidi and his teammate Froco had a bit of an issue because Buemi and Conway are now up into second and third place and by good like 8 seconds. So maybe they didn't take tyres. Not too sure, but bit of a disaster at the moment for the leading Ferrari. The leading the second and third Ferrari. Sorry, I just had a complete blank there. We're now on the back of Pierre Guidi, our old teammate. Can we get a move done? Obviously, if he's changed tyres, he'll be on cold tyres. We're looking in the same. We're getting down towards the first of the chicanes. We'll cut off board. See if we get it done. See the headlights there as we just nip ahead of him. Now up into 5th place, so we're really having some good pit stops now. Our first pit stop got us up from close to last place up to 7th. Now we're up in 5th. Be interested to see if Porsches have good pace again in this stint and if they can catch up to Pierre Guidi. Not too far behind actually, Estra, maybe about 4 seconds. And up ahead of us, only about a corner or two ahead, is this man, the man who's taken our seat for this year from at Ferrari. He is trailing Conway by about 8 seconds, who is not too far behind his teammate there. You see the Toyota pair, so Toyota might have not started off this race with great pace, but as they often do, they have gained lots of time throughout the duration of the race so far. But still, up in the lead with a nice healthy lead is this man over Robert Kubica. Absolutely chilling in the lead, 25 seconds. I think if anything he's gained some time in the pit stop, so maybe the Throke and Pierre Guidi Ferraris had damage somewhere. Not too sure, but Kubica's just living his best life at the moment. See the cars tentative through the end of the Porsche curves. Almost losing it there still, even with the wet weather tyres, even with the 4-wheel drive. And Kubica in the pit, so I think this might be what we were talking about the AR being a bit when it comes to wet weather tyres. I think potentially they might have come on to pitted for the dry tyres. I try and see what the Toyotas do here, because the Toyotas seem to have really good pace. Maybe they've not been as affected too much. We're going to jump back onto ourselves quickly, as we're right behind Froco. I think this is where we realise that they have the dry tyres on. Can moved on. I imagine the Ferrari's going to dive into the pit lane here. He does, and so does the Toyotas ahead of him. So a really unfortunate, error there in the game. Obviously, a very quick pit stop by Kubica. As they've only just come in to fuel up. Be a quick tyre change and out they go. Quite an annoying bug because it's going to have a fair bit of an impact on this race. But obviously not a lot we can do. We know it's an early access this game. So there's not a lot we can do about that. But we're going to take it as it comes. And we are now leading the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Be interesting to see how things pan out with Kubica. Obviously that was a very quick stop. Change tires, splash fuel, and off he went again. When we come and make our pit stop, we will have a much longer time to wait. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Yeah, not ideal. Bit annoying that has happened. Kubica comes out in second place. He's followed by Buemi in third, and Conway right behind him in fourth position now on the wet weather tyres. Fuoco is in fifth position. Pierre Guidi, sixth. Kevin Estre now coming out the pits is in seventh position, followed by Jaminet and Matt Campbell. But I think we'll stick on board with the Porsche of Kevin Estre for the time being. As he doesn't seem to be too far behind Pierre Guidi at the moment. See if he can get up into sixth place. Futetru's taking it nice and easy, getting the power down. See, this is the beauty of the Le Mans rule set. In the Ferrari, that is a custom built by Ferrari, four-wheel drive V6 engine monster, compared to the Porsche, which is, I believe, the chassis manufacturer's Multimatic, and having going to these chassis manufacturers. For those of you who don't know, obviously the Le Mans Daytona hybrid, so the Lamborghini that we drive, Porsche, the BMW, the Cadillac, and the Acura that is used in IMSA. Basically, the manufacturers go to a chassis manufacturer. There are four of them. I think it's Orica, Multimatic, Dallara, and one other one that slips my mind. Go to them, say build a car. The internals between the Lamborghini, the Cadillac, and the BMW are all the same. Now, obviously, the engine's different, but the suspension and whatnot is all. They all look very different. They, work with the manufacturers to style them. How the manufacturer wants to be styled so they're recognisable. Obviously, the BMW having the great big nostrils on it. Then the teams can put in whatever engine they want. So the Cadillac is a big naturally aspirated V8. I believe our Lamborghini uses the V8 as well. Can't quite remember if it's turbocharged. The Porsche uses a twin turbocharged V8. The Alpine uses a V6. So lots of different ways about doing it, but see, we're all very close on a variety of different tracks really. I suppose while we're on this topic, we'll talk about the man ahead of us in the Ferrari. We'll look back at Kevin Estre while we do so. In fact, what we'll do is we'll move on to ourselves at the front of the field, because Kubica seems to be catching us very quickly. We're on to Kubica here. Yeah, obviously this car that we're on board with the Ferrari, the Toyota, and the Peugeot are your typical Le Mans hybrid cars that have the manufacturers can do whatever they want within the rule set, hitting a certain drag level, hitting a certain weight level, hitting a certain power level. So you have, I think, all the the engines between those three manufacturers are all pretty similar. I think they all use a turbocharged V6 with the four-wheel drive hybrid, obviously on the axle only above 190 kph, so they might benefit slightly in these wetter conditions. As we see, Kubica is gaining on us quite substantially, but they don't get the instant drive out the corner. Otherwise that would be quite unfair. The other Le Mans hypercars, which actually one of them, Bennett, has retired from this race unfortunately, so not a good outing from the pole sitter, but the other ones are the Exotic Skinny, the Glickenhaus and the Van Wall, all non-hybrids, a lot more simplified, makes it a lot cheaper, but obviously smaller companies, not as big backing, so don't tend to do as well. They're saying that the Peugeots are a big team and they're not doing particularly well, unfortunately. And then obviously this year, a car which I very much hope the studio bring to Le Mans Ultimate is the Aston Martin Valkyrie. If you guys have not seen it, please go and check out the Valkyrie, because it is absolutely beautiful and sounds phenomenal. Like, if the Cadillac was the best sounding car, the Valkyrie blows it out of the water. So I'm very excited for Qatar, for when that hits the track. Hopefully it can have a good outing with the Heart of Racing team. Speaking of Qatar, Studio 397, is it? Put out an update the other day, obviously updating on future releases. So we've got obviously Qatar still to come, and some of the GT3 cars. I believe there's the Porsche, the Aston Martin, the Lexus. Am I missing any? I think that might be all of them. Got those two cars to come, and obviously Qatar. Some of those GT3 cars will be coming out, I think, towards the end of February, they said, maybe early March. Whereas the Qatar update will be coming in May. So I'll be very excited for the Qatar update, as Kubica gets very wayward there, passing some of the GT3 traffic. He's going to be brave around the outside here of the Porsche curves. Can he get the move done and dusted? He can, but he gets held up behind the BMW M4 there. He's trying to make his way past the Ferrari 296. Big lifting coast as well. Interesting to see how the additional pit stop they made affects their strategy, whether they're trying to go extra long now, how their pit stops all compared to my own. We made an early pit stop to start off with, but I feel like we've gained some of that time back with big lifting coasts. I feel like we're quite good at saving a lot compared to AI. And we'll just work our way down, see if we can find any close battles through the night. We've got quite a close battle here, I think, of Estra and Pierre Guidi's. Pierre Guidi goes right off the track there. Unfortunately, we missed Estra getting by the Ferrari. Estra now up into P6, chasing down Pierre Guidi's teammate, who's about 11 seconds up the track. They'll have a bit of work cut out to catch up to him, and we'll wait and see if the other Porsches of Jaminet and Campbell work their way up to the back of Pierre Guidi. We'll sit on Jaminet's perspective for the time being. Yeah, if you, something I've always wondered is if you guys like the GT3 or as it was GT Le Mans, now the GT3 car in LMU. Is it something that you want to see more content of? Whether it's a career mode, whether it's online races, I've been doing some of them, maybe as a little thing to record for you guys, if you'd be interested in that kind of thing. Whether that's online championship stuff, the co-op mode, let me know down below. Maybe I'll do some live stream. Well, like I say, I want to do some sort of charity event. Unsure when that will happen, but it will be. I need to work out some logistics stuff on the tech side of things. I want it to be a long race, maybe 6 hours. I don't know if that's a bit long to do in a headset. I need to do some testing of how long I can but I suppose for charity I've got to be a bit uncomfortable. But how long I can go in a headset really. What track we're going to do it round. And obviously Le Mans is a typical one to do it round, but I want to mix it up. Maybe even do, I'd thought about doing perhaps a charity series where we do like maybe 4 long races spread out throughout the year. But maybe that might be something that we do next year. Set ourselves off easily this year with just one event and then go from there. But yeah, if you guys are just far into this video and still watching them, please give me a subscribe. Although probably if you're this far and you're already subscribed, hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments if you're enjoying the series, what you want to see from the future. Obviously I've started to think about season 3 and what that might entail. I talked about a bit about it. Was it Spa or Portimao? It might be in Spa. About potentially doing moving teams, perhaps going to a team that's not performing as well, whether that's maybe Porsche, maybe Cadillac, BMW, potentially a Peugeot move, but I don't know if I want to subject myself to that torture for a whole calendar season, and then I've started thinking about what the season might look like. Might be a shorter season, but in the idea being that races can be rotated, and as well we'll have some more extended races. I'm thinking about changing the point system, so that the points, basically everyone gets points, no matter where, regardless of where you finish, you get some sort of points, and that will be scaled to the race length event. Sorry, so I just interrupt myself there, as I've just noticed that the wipers on the Porsche are no longer going, so it looks like it's stopped raining. Still quite damp out there, you still see the puddles, so it might not be longer until we are on the slick tires, perhaps next pit stop or the pit stop after. Lots of traffic here for Germany to get past. BMW, McLaren, Corvette up ahead that's delaying Pierre Guidi's momentum quite a bit. But I think it's going to probably hamper Jamney more as he's now stuck behind them through the S's. And he'll look to get past them down towards Tetrouge. He's going to get the McLaren, not going to get the Ferrari here, just going to have to stick behind him unfortunately. You see, is his teammate close enough behind? Doesn't look like it to really mount a challenge. And now with that traffic, Campbell has managed to get past Jaminet. And the Ferrari really hampering Gemini's run there through the second exit of the second chicane. And Campbell is now ahead of the special entry Porsche for the Le Mans race. I have to see if he can pull ahead. Pierre Guidi, it's a little way up the road. We're actually going to come onto Pierre Guidi, who is going side by side with Kevin Estre as they run down towards Indianapolis. It looks like the Ferrari got the move done. Again, missing that battle, unfortunately. Estre's not going to give it up at outfight, looking left, right, down towards Indianapolis. Can he get the move done? Looks like he's just going to have to find for now, so maybe the... Oh, he's going to dive down the inside. Ignoring what I just said there. What a beautiful move there by Kevin Estre. There's going to be 3 wide down towards our arch. There's cars everywhere, side by side. Estre's going crazy there off losing the back end. And so close to gaining that position back. He's done so well there, but just loses out. And there is the potential for quite a bit of damage on the Porsche and the Ferrari, really. As you see in the left-hand corner, left-hand side of your screen, we are into the pits. Followed through by... was that a Toyota in the pits with us as well? Yeah, so we'll have to see what tyres we will go on to. Not quite sure. We'll perhaps cut back on to see what tyres he goes on to. I think it's... There's a lot of spray, but it's worth putting on a set of dries. And here we go from our pit stop. I think we might be on dries. We'll see how we deal on circuit. We'll look at our steering wheel to see how unstable our car is. I think potentially we're on dries. Yeah, I think we're on dries. The care that we have to take here. So it'll be interesting to see if the cars behind us have also pitted for dries. That's cars in the pits, all 3 Porsches. Estre following, Jaminet following... No, sorry. Estre being followed by Jaminet, being followed by Matt Campbell. So the Porsche's pretty much nose to tail here. Be interested to see where Kubica comes out in comparison to us. Maybe an extra lap on the wet tyres might just be what it takes to get ahead of us. We are approaching halfway in this race, so should hopefully be close to sunrise now. You know, in game maybe only a few hours, obviously in our accelerated timeline. Maybe like 20-30 minutes till sunrise. We've got Kubica in the pits. He will surely be followed through by Buemi and Fuoco. And we'll have to wait and see where we come out in comparison to Kubica. We're now coming towards the Porsche curves. Turns in alright there. So perhaps if we are on dry tyres, we've got them warmed up enough. If we look back from our point of view, yeah, not much spray there. If any at all, so it looks like it is now the dry tyres. Where is Kubica in all of this? He's tunneling down the pit lane on the right hand side of the screen, top right hand side of the screen. We'll see ourselves coming through the start finish line here. Kubica is going to get away any minute, and where is he going to come out in comparison to us? We screwed on the outside of him into turn one, but Kubica has gained massive amounts of time there. So, you know, what was 4 or 5 behind us, he's really caught up to us. I think potentially we might be suffering with very cold tyres. Before, and I'll say it again, I normally struggle with tyre warm-up, especially compared to the AI in the first few laps. But on a damp track in the middle of the night, might even be having even problems. As Kubica looks right on the back of us, he goes down the inside of us, out Tetra, down towards the Mulsanne, or down on the Mulsanne. Can he get the move done? It's a drag race down towards the first chicane, side by side. He's just getting a bit of a side there. We're just going to pull just back ahead of him. You see the spray coming off of his car in the shadow. Can we brake later than him? Kubica brakes really late there, really brilliantly. We have to like kind of hesitate in our movement, and Kubica's really taking the lead in this race. So Kubica is absolutely fine. Maybe Kubica's still some wet with the tyres. We're going to have to regather our composure and see if we can claw our way back past the pole man. But I think with the pace that Kubica's had all race long, it's going to be very difficult. Fortunately, we've about a 19-second gap back to Connor. There's been an absolute disaster behind us for not only Buemi, but both of the factory Ferraris as well. They've dropped right the way back into 9th and 10th place, even behind Van Thor. So the Porsches are now up into 4th, 5th and 6th position. We've got Campbell, the car behind, looking to make a move past his temporary teammate of Jaminet. And I'm sure with the pace that Buemi has got, he will be onto this battle in no time at all as well. Into Mulsanne corner, Matt Campbell gains massively there. Can he get a good run down towards Indianapolis? See how much Buemi has closed up behind them. As everything starts to settle down in the night, I think I'll let you enjoy the sights and the sounds of Le Mans, and I'll cut back in when there is some action. Obviously we'll cycle up and down the grid and give you a bit of an update, as they do in real life, when we get to sunrise, and just let you enjoy the battles that can be had here in Le Mans Ultimate. Now through Tetraroos, there is going to be a three-way battle down towards the first chicane. Bowie looking to go down the inside. Oh, Campbell defends nicely down towards the inside. Has space to go around the outside. He's going to break. He's sat in the slipstream of Manet. Breaks late and just slips ahead of the number 5 Porsche. He's already set his sights on the number 4 Porsche of Mathieu Jaminet. I think his name's Mathieu Jaminet. Apologies if I've got that wrong. Is he going to get 2 Porsches on back-to-back straights? It looks like he's going to might do it. As he breaks late into the second chicane, he gets the move, slides his way up into 5th position. Jaminet putting up quite a big fight there, and we're actually going to cut off of that battle to ourselves because we are not too far behind the Ferrari of Kubica. So we'll see if we can do anything against the leader, see if we can get that lead. Because on the left hand side, Bowie has kept that position ahead of Campbell and Jaminet, the teammates at bottom positions. So possibly should have kept on that, but wanted to see if there was anything happening for us and Kubica. as we approach the hour mark, the sun has begun to rise. See the dry line forming on the track. I'll give you a breakdown of our leaderboard as it stands, with just over an hour left. We have Kubica at the lead by about 4.6 seconds. Obviously took the lead right at the start, lost it to us thanks to some silly pit stops, but gained it back rather brilliantly from us, as I've just gone into the wrong car there. We have ourselves in second place, like I say, 4.8 seconds behind. Buemi is a further 18 seconds behind us in third position. Both Toyotas were of a charge. We're in second and third, but I've lost some time against those silly AI pit stops with wet weather. Fourth position, 45 seconds off the lead, is Kevin Estra. He's being followed by Emmy, who splits the three Porsche teammates with Campbell and Jaminet running in tandem behind the number 8 Toyota. Further back we have Fuoco over a minute off the lead, which is a real shame because he was running in second, only about 10 seconds if that behind Kubica. But the Ferraris have had a disastrous time of things, with, like I say, Fuoco running 65 seconds off the back of Kubica, and Pierre Guidi another 5 seconds further back. Bamba has made his way up into the top 10 somehow. He was one of the worst placed Cadillacs. We had obviously Felipe Durrani and Van der Zande right up at the start, right up at the front at the start of the race, and then just pit stops, maybe lots of damage. They fell back quite significantly. But we have Bamba up into 10th place at the moment. He is followed by the Glickenhauses of Manu and Dumas, with Dumas being chased down by the yellow-fronted Cadillac that I just mentioned of Van der Zande. We then have a look battle here for 14th place between Lapierre and Will Stevens in the Alpine and Joe de Porsche respectively. Behind them they have Neil Jarni as well, so a little three-way battle here. Unfortunately outside of the points, I said before, maybe in season 4 we have points all the way up and down the field, so that this is a meaningful battle. You know, if you finish a longer race as well, I feel like you should be rewarded with those points. We actually have some cars at the front of the field pitting, so I'll just cut them at the moment. We have that's Earl Bamba coming into the pits. We have Kevin Estra, the trio of Buemi, Jaminet, and Campbell in the pits. The Ferraris of Pierre Guidi, Fuoco, and Kubica, as well as Conway's teammate of Buemi, and ourselves as well, have carried on for another lap. Now the gap about 6 seconds to Kubica's head. Kubica just chilling, pulling away lap after lap. Like I say, again, doing an incredible job here. Just under an hour left now to keep the lead of this race and to potentially bring home his first overall Le Mans win. Obviously, in this season, that'll be 50 points that will be needed for Buemi here. See if he comes into the pits this lap or if he can get another lap. I would imagine, because of the length of lap it is, probably be pitting this lap. But very interesting to see how the fuel usage swaps and changes between different manufacturers, even different teams. You know, the Wall Stevens now in 10th has carried on an extra lap compared to the Penske Porsches. Now through the Porsche. Kubica comes, I think, pretty traffic free ahead of him for the time being, and he'll be diving into the pits this lap. It's a bit of a shame how clean the car is. Obviously, rain and all the muck that they would gather throughout a race, it would be nice to see that on the cars. I don't know if you've ever seen at the end of a Le Mans race when all the cars are put together and they're all, look at the war scars, covered in filth and whatnot. They look absolutely incredible, so maybe that could be something that is brought to Le Mans Ultimate in the future. We have Kubica pitting. We have followed him in ourselves, which have our teammate bought in the pits, who will just be leaving, so we're not far off from him. And we also would be in the pits soon too. And he should be followed by Farouk and Pierre Guidi. It'll be interesting to see where Conway and the Porsches come out. Just notice that actually the Ed has lost out quite a bit to his Porsche siblings. Jaminet and Campbell have continuously swapping positions here. Estre has lost about 20 seconds off the back of these two, so perhaps have some damage, maybe 10 seconds, maybe have some damage. Again, I'm pretty sure all the AI will change the tyres every pit stop. Everyone should be on new softs until the end. I think we've got enough tyres to do pit stops every lap, every stint. I'd say every lap will be running out of tyres in no time. Just cut up to the front of the field where, interestingly, Farouk has gone for another lap. So the Ferrari's got very good fuel economy, or energy economy. Kubica's come out in second place, but will effectively be the lead of the race once Farouk hits this lap. We just knock some markers there, don't need them, don't wipe out them. We're up in third place, obviously that will soon be second place. We have Buemi coming through the pits. Looks like he might be overtaken by Conway here, so Conway's had a fantastic run of things. He's overtaken his way past the three Porsches and is now up in to fourth place ahead of his teammate Conway, so brilliant move there. Oh, sorry, Conway's ahead of Buemi even. So Conway putting in a great stint. Buemi's actually fallen back down. Oh no, that makes sense. Okay, ignore. Conway was ahead anyway. Buemi has rejoined in the battle that he was in. I think he was actually ahead of these two, behind Kevin Estre. So, be interesting to see down the Mulsanne. Can he sit in the slipstream of Matt? But he's already looking to the outside, inside, swapping lanes, trying to go around outside, down towards the first chicane. Toyota's got pretty good straight line speed compared to the Porsche. Where will they both brake? Can he do it in the braking zone? Obviously around the outside, Campbell has the inside for the corner. He's brake later and let him through. He just eases onto the brakes, and Buemi is up into fifth place. So it's a 4-5 for Toyota. And now Campbell is going to have his teammate of Jaminet right behind him. He's down towards the second chicane. Can he do anything? Obviously, Campbell's getting the slipstream off of Buemi, so he'll be able to make a move. Just have to sit behind him for the time being. These two will be chopping and changing lap after lap. would imagine Buemi now would just drive away from the pair of them. And they have quite, this pair of Porsches has quite a healthy gap to Van Thor behind, who is, what's that, 14 seconds behind. He has Kevin Estre not too far behind him, so Estre really falling off, perhaps having some issues in the pit lane, unfortunately, that has taken him from what was effectively fifth position, now down to 9th. Furyka finally in the pits to see where he shuffles out into his teammate Pierre Guidi all the way down in 11th place. Not a good last half an hour for the factory Ferraris. We've lost a lot of time to the back of Kubica, but we're going to look at the McLaren here. Link up the two Porsches. Are they going to have a battle? They almost look like they collided there through the Porsche curves. Still very slippy if you go offline there. You see the shine on top of the surface. And I thought there was almost going to be a collision there, which would not be good for the Porsches to crash in the Porsche curves. But they managed to survive, keep it nice and clean. And continue in 6th and 7th place, which will now be 5th and 6th, I believe, as they overtake Furyka. We'll see where Furyka comes out. Looks like he's going to be behind Van Thor and behind Estre, I would imagine. We look to the right hand side there, just behind those two. So he comes out in 9th place. I think Bamba's, a bit too far behind to think, quite a way behind. So as we have the sun right up now, should be into the race, well, that is in real life, where start getting this time sets, normally known as golden hour. I really wish, so the way that I have to record these is effectively have do race and record the overlay, then record the overlay on like a green screen, then remove the green screen and overlay onto the replay. What would be lovely, and what I really hope they bring in, would be more features to the replay system, so I could just boot up the replay and it would have fuel usage, tyre, information about pit stops that I could just cycle through at my will. But anyway, this is what we have to deal with at the moment. I'm going to try and see if I can record more stuff to display on here. Like the graphic that shows like throttle application and energy level and stuff. But it's a lot easier said than done. I mean, there's even a feature on the broadcasting, like it says auto cycle. I was like, oh great, it's going to auto cycle through all these, gaps and tyres and fuel usage. But no, it cycles through the bottom 6th or bottom however many, if they're not shown, like on here where getting shown 21st, 22nd, and then it changes 26th, 27th. Cycles through that rather than the actual variables that I want to see. So a bit annoying. Hopefully get some more features built onto the replay mode. What Kubica has just extended his gap to 16 seconds up front. We have a nice lead of what's that, like 33 seconds way behind. Conway and Buemi only separate by 3 seconds, and then the 3-4 seconds back is this pair here. I'm going to cycle down the pack a little bit to Kevin Estra, who's having a good little battle with Antonio Fuoco. Let's see if the Ferrari can redeem with this race. 45 minutes left to go here. And see if you can score some more points for the factory Ferrari team. Obviously in the manufacturer's points, Kubica will be scoring, well, if they stay the way it is, Kubica will be scoring the points for Ferrari as the manufacturer, but there's still the teams battle going on, which I think at the moment Toyota is winning, or Toyota is leading, and in this race as well, being in third or Toyota. Looking good to build upon their lead. Our drivers, I think we're 11 points ahead of Fuoco or Buemi. There's a little battle pack of Fuoco. So we're just going to cut off of that actually, as Fuoco looks to go down the inside of the number 6 Porsche. Can he get it down into turn 1? Into the first even. He's on the slightly damper side of the track, but the Ferrari has good straight line speed. Seems that the Porsche is struggling a little bit with that straight line speed. And the Ferrari's up into 7th place, and now we'll check down Jaminet and Campbell ahead. Bit more of a gap to close down there, about 20 seconds or so. So we'll see what Fuoco can do in the remaining 40-45 minutes. Further back from these as well, we have El Bambo, as you can see, quite a battered front end. He's being chased down by Pierre Guidi, so Pierre Guidi can get up into the top 10 for Ferrari. Bambo's struggling quite a bit with the brake, looks like. Maybe catching a bit of the damp stuff. Though we'll just look at the continuous battle with Jaminet and Campbell. Might be a little bit of traffic next lap also to influence this. These two have had quite a good clean battle so far. Full bragging rights for the Penske Porsche operation. Jaminet really diving into the 4K in that. Almost losing it, but manages to just in control. Van Thor is in the pits as well, so perhaps this lap or the next lap we will have some more action. Like I say, I think it's about every 6 laps, like 5-6 laps, with the fuel usage. Perhaps that might be something as well that I play around with for next season. going to cut back onto this battle here between Pierre Guidi and Bamba. See if he can make any moves there. Still seeing either side of the track, still very damp, so got to be careful if you're trying to overtake and brake it offline. Looks like for now, Pierre Guidi will just have to stick behind the blue-fronted Cadillac. We've got Conway, Campbell, Jaminet in the pits. I'll have to see how they come out, whether Jaminet will be ahead of Campbell or not, whether the order will be shaken up even more. Perhaps maybe one stop from here. I would imagine maybe like a cheeky little splash and dash towards the end. But Kubica, myself, Buemi, Furuko and Pierre Guidi have all stayed out. Campbell is in the pits. We're watching Bamba even is in the pits. We're watching Pierre Guidi stay out on track. Quite big gap between the top 5 as it stands. Obviously that will change once we get into the pit. Kubica call collected down towards the Mulsanne corner. Should have some traffic that he needs to work his way through. He's got this race under control at the moment. We're about 18 seconds off the back of him. I think there's quite a bit of traffic in between the two of us as well. And Cooper dives into the pits. We surely will follow. We've got a van wall there as well, holding us up a little bit. We get as you tag the Corvette there. Hopefully not doing too much damage to our front. Hopefully we're not going to be too long in the pits if we do have to repair that. We actually managed to go on for another lap here, which is excellent for us. It means in the last stop we'll have slightly less time to wait than Kubica. I think we might have got away with any damage on our front end. We'll wait and see if we've got Kubica in the pits. Does Buemi pit as well, or can he carry on an extra lap like we have? No, Buemi in the pits. And I would imagine as Furuko comes through the Porsche curves, I imagine that Furuko will be pitting as well. Nope, Furuko carries on for another lap. So Furuko obviously on the same strategy as us. What does his teammate do with Pierre Guidi behind? We've seen some of the cars splitting strategies, and they're still splitting their strategy, so Pierre Guidi into pits while Furuko carries on. Kubica getting away there, so very big gap between Kubica and Fuoco. You know, almost a pit stop really. We are looking to get past Van Wall, who is down in 23rd place, seeing if we can put him a lap down. Down towards the outside, towards Mulsanne corner, I believe, to get the move done. We can see where Jaminet and Campbell filter out. I think they might have just pitted as well. We've got Jaminet ahead of Campbell, so the two Porsches swap positions once again. See what traffic is ahead for these Porsches, see if that can put another twist in this tail. Two Toyotas still going well. The 4th and 5th at the moment, which will become 3rd and 4th once Ferrari is pitted. I imagine we will be coming towards the tops now. About half an hour left, so I'm not too sure pit stop wise. We might have to do another one, I think. I think potentially we might just be ever so slightly short. We're going to come into now, following the Corvette in. And into the pits we come for what I believe to be our penultimate pit stop. Maybe use some tactics of not changing tyres to see if that can give us some gain us some time up towards the back of Kubica. So we will have to wait and see. Corvette dives into the pit box and we are going to follow, coming in at an angle, and we are in the pits waiting to see where we come out. So while we wait in the pits, we'll have a check up and down the field to see how everyone else is getting on. Obviously we've got Fuoco here in the number 50 Ferrari coming into the pits. Again, probably me and him will need to do a little splash at the end. We've got Kubica coming through to read the lead that he's led, or that he's had for so long in this race. Be difficult to catch up to him. We'll have to wait and see where we come out from our pit stop. We're still waiting there to be refueled. Fuoco in the pits with us, and then we have the number 7 Toyota of Conway just coming through the Porsche curves now. So a little way off the back of us, as we're now away and out of the pits. That gap has grown even more to Kubica. And potentially some well, I don't really know what we can do against Kubica. He's been so dominant for the whole race. He obviously built up that lead at the start, and everyone was stuck behind Bennett and some of the Glickenhausers. So we'll have to wait and see what we can do. Maybe not change tyres at the last stop, potentially. But it is looking like the win might be out of grasp for us at the moment. But obviously there's still half an hour to go. Maybe we might get lucky with a potential issue for Kubica, potential crash. With some of the back markers, we will have to wait and see. But we'll give you a rundown. So we've got obviously Kubica in first, myself in second, Mike Conway in the number 7 Toyota in third. His teammate Buemi is only 2 and a bit seconds behind him. So Toyota having a pretty good race here. Good recovery. They were quite low down at the start of the race. We then have the pair of Jaminet and Campbell, who have been locked in a fierce battle for most of this race. Campbell actually looking to go for a move down the inside as they come towards the Ferrari GT3 car here. Going either side there. It looks like Campbell is about to take into the braking zone. Yeah, just takes the lead of this battle off of Jaminet. But these two have been battling all race long, so I suspect that there will be some more swappings of positions as the race concludes. Obviously, 5th and 6th for Porsche, so pretty good run there. Their teammate of Esther is down in 11th. He had some issues and has dropped down, but we'll get to him shortly. First of the factory Ferraris of Antonio Fuoco is down in 7th place. About 15 seconds off the back of Jaminet. And his teammate Fuoco is a further 10 seconds back. He had Bamber right behind him, so Bamber's had quite a good recovery run. Obviously at the start of the race, Felipe Durrani and Van der Zande were quite high up in the standings. But Bamber here is charging towards the back of Pierre Guidi, so it'll be interesting to see what the Cadillac can do here. Ferrari showing excellent pace earlier on in the race, but as the time has ticked down, it seems like they've struggled a bit. And behind the blue-fronted Cadillac of Earl Bamber, we have Van Thor, who's not too far behind this duo either, so if they start squabbling or they get some traffic at the wrong time, it might allow BMW, who's currently in 10th place, to make some moves, gain a few more positions. Behind Van Thor, as we talked about before, we have Kevin Estre. It was originally leading the sort of Porsche trio of himself, Campbell and Jaminet, but fell back through some pit stops, maybe a bit more damage than some of the others. Behind him we have Van der Zande, who's 30 seconds off the back of Estre, so quite a way away. Then we the two Glickenhauses, so although they started off really well, falling down the field, but for a one-off appearance they're still doing fairly well. Behind them we then have the first of the Alpines, who's being followed very closely by Nil Jani. So we kind of suspected that the Alpines might not be as good here. They seem to be very good on, higher downforce tracks. Imola they were really good. Portimao they were really good, but at Monza they struggled. At Spa they struggled a little bit. Chassan was up in the podium positions and then lost it to both Toyotas. So perhaps lacking that straight line speed, which obviously crucial here. At Le Mans we'll have to see if Johnny can get past him. Behind the Proton competition we have the last of the Cadillacs in Felipe Durrani. Just coming through Indianapolis now and down towards Arnage. The BMW Art car not having a great run either, down in 18th position, followed by Bortoletti, who's in a battle with Will Stevens. Again, Toyota Porsches not having a good run this time out. Obviously, Toyota Porsches have been, up there in recent races. See podium for Will Stevens in the first race, but struggling around here. Obviously, very demanding track, especially for the length of time that we race for, and not having the best of times. Stevens is followed by his teammate Rasmussen with the second Alpine, not too far back. Felipe Nasr in the 75 Porsche, quite a bow back, and perhaps confirming that the 2023 Porsches, maybe the balance of performance on it is slightly worse than the 2023 Porsche rather than the 2024 Porsche. Quite well. The Van Wall, as we expect, right at the back, but it's still ahead of both Peugeots. So the Peugeots having, again, a shocking race at the home track. Don't quite understand how they can be this bad. Should really bring the wingless car, because even that seemed to be performing better. But we'll make our way back up the field now, see what battles we can see in this last 25 minutes or so. See, we've got a few groups of cars here and there. Two Porsches still battling over 5th place. We'll go ahead and see what the battle between the Toyotas is like, because I think Birmingham might have caught up slightly to the back of Conway. Obviously ourselves in clear air, 30 seconds off the back of Kubica, so really going to be really difficult to close that gap in the last 20 minutes or so. Kubica looks like he is just on a leisurely Sunday drive, really. It's been that way pretty much all the race long. Again, we saw it in Spa, we saw it here. But it tends to be if, a slow car like Bennett, like one of the Peugeots, gets that good random qualifying, really hampers the rest of the field. Maybe that's something we need to address for next season, and bring back qualifying, so that we get a bit more of a fair spread, and don't have these fortunate people in the race lead who just can gap everyone behind. But that's a discussion for end of the time. It's still just not quite as close as the Porsches, and the Porsches aren't too far off the back of the Toyotas either, so they've got to be careful not to squabble too much. Sit on board with Jaminet getting very close to the braking zone. Sitting in the slipstream, can he get a good run down towards the second chicane? Obviously, same cars, very similar setup between these two. And he's gaining ever so slightly, but not quite enough, it doesn't seem to be, to get him into the second chicane. Gonna have to sit behind him again. And it looks like potentially there's not a whole lot of traffic to interfere in this battle for now. More traffic will be coming up shortly, though. Seems to be the GT3s are a lot on the other side of the circuit. Run down towards Indianapolis. Jaminet gaining a little bit in the slipstream, but just can't do anything really against him. Kubica are a lot of clear track ahead of him. I think we have potentially a hypercar back market in front of us, so it might take a little bit longer for us to catch up in that instance. Looks like Bamba has dropped off the back of Pierre Guidi as well, so not having the pace to keep up with them. Maybe difference in tyre temps. And the Glickenhouses that are on inside have separated as well. Dumas fallen back into the grasp of Shatan, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects this three-way battle. But down towards Indianapolis now. They go, they've got some GT3 traffic ahead of them, so let's see how that affects. Dumas gets caught up there behind the BMW. That's allowed Shatan to gain loads into the braking zone. Looking left, looking right, there's cars everywhere. Shatan has left down the inside of Dumas. Can he get the place done? It's going to be a drag race out of the corner. Side by side, they're going to have to go either side of the GT3 cars here. And where will Shatan be compared to Dumas? He's behind Dumas, so he's going to have to look into the Porsche curves. And all the while they've got Neil Johnny into the Porsche curves to go. Shatan's got a bit wide. Does that let Johnny go through? Johnny's pulled an immense move on the outside of the Porsche curves there. In the Proton competition Porsche, living up to its name. And what a fantastic little battle there we had there. Johnny will now be onto the back of Dumas. See what he can do when we get onto the Mulsanne. As they're all diving into the pits. That's Johnny, Shatan. Who else is in the pits up ahead? We've got the other Glickenhaus of Malia. We have Estra, Van der Zande, Bamber, who was in the pits, who had is already leaving the pits. So that will be his last pit stop of this race. We have Jaminet, who I believe has pitted and has lost a bit of time to his teammate ahead of Matt Campbell. Conway has also pitted in the number 7 Toyota, and I suspect the Ferraris will be in soon. We've got Kubica coming towards the pit lane now. Is he going to dive off to the right hand side? He does, and it's the last pit stop here for the leading AF Corsa Ferrari. Will be following through as we're just coming through the Porsche curves now. I suspect we might be able to go another lap. Oops, we go very wide there. Will we dive in this lap, or will we continue for another lap? We're going to continue for another lap and take the lead of this race temporarily. So I think we'll have a very short stop here. And we'll come across the line and retake the lead of the race. But it won't be for much longer. We have Buemi behind. Does he dive off into the pits? He does. I would imagine when the Ferraris get there, although the Ferraris quite a way back, one of them might come into the pits and one of them might continue for another lap. We unfortunately, I think, have some traffic here. We've got the Corvette, which we almost smashed into the side of there. This is a bit of a make or break lap for us, really. I suspect Kubica will be taking fuel and tyres. We're going to take one lap less of tyres. God, what a tongue twister. A lap less of fuel, and maybe not switch tyres, and maybe that might be able to pull us closer to the AF Corsa Ferrari. So he's just furiously flashing the lights there, letting the GT3 traffic know that we are coming through and that we are on a charge. Kubica is now out of the pits and heading down through the S's. So about 40-50 seconds between us. Fuoco's continued off right another lap as his mate Pierre Guidi is pitted. Buemi even is coming out, who will be off position until Fuoco pits. To see where Conway is in all this, just going through the Ford chicane now. Where will his teammate Buemi be? Would he be on the right hand side? There he is. We'll now look behind and see that Conway has taken 4th position back, but the two Toyotas very close together. And that could get quite spicy if that is a fight for the final podium position. Looks like that last round of pit stops has spread the field out quite a bit, so those battles that we were having before have kind of spread out now. We have Lapierre into the pits. Chatan has managed to get back past Neil Johnny, but they are both now still behind Dumar. No traffic here for them to contend with, so we'll have to wait and see if Chatan can get past the Glickenhaus. Neil Johnny will be sick and tired of looking at the back of that Alpine. We're going to cut onto the front of the field because we are now in the pits. We've got Kubica coming through the Forge King now, our teammate just ahead of him there. We're still in the pit lane. We're going to be able to get out before Kubica. Kubica driving towards turn one, and it looks like we are going to have to concede second place to him, we probably expected. We'll leave the pits to see how far behind we are. Fuoco also in the pits there. We come out 27 seconds, so yeah, lost a lot of time. Well, it didn't gain any time really. I can't remember if we did change tyres or not. Not ideal for us. Like we might have to just settle for second place. Still 10 minutes left. Well, 11 minutes left. So important to bring it home. We got Felipe Nasr who's lightning out the pits here. Obviously looking to gain back a lap from us. But we'll just have to stay behind us for now. It's 10 minutes left until he could potentially be crowned the winner of the 24 hours of Le Mans, or the 2.4 hours of Le Mans in this case. Buemi leading Conway in the number 8 and 7 meters respectively. But over the last few position, about 3 seconds between that duo. Campbell looks like he might have 5th over his teammate Jaminet. And the two Ferraris. What a disastrous race for them. Had the pace very early on, you know, it was 1-2 for Ferrari. And it all just crumbled away through the pit stops, through the rain. Obviously, like I said, I think there was a patch to the AI and rain, so they are a bit stupid. They do make some mistakes, which might have impacted this race a little bit, but there was nothing I could do about it. BMW of Van Thor having quite a good race, you know, kind of been a little sneaky getting into the top 10. He's ahead of Bamber, who's potentially going to bring some points home before Cadillac here. In that number 2 blue fronted American machine. Kevin Estre will be wondering what happened to his race, how it went downhill. He could have been in 5th position, and instead he's down out the points in 11th, so that's not going to help his championship contention. Van der Zandra as well. Both Van Zander and Felipe Durrani having great races at the start, and all just falling away. And it looks like there's been a little battle here. We've got Shantan versus Gianni versus Felipe Durrani. Is Felipe Durrani going to get the move done on Gianni? Down towards the second chicane he gets, or the first chicane he gets the move done. All these cars have now passed Dumas, you see in the background there. And it looks like Durrani is on a bit of a mission here in the closing stages of this race. Cadillac has excellent top end speed. No lift and coast needed at this point in the race. Obviously the Cadillac has the benefit of being naturally aspirated, so doesn't have any turbo lag. Very drivable. The engine is going to look down towards the inside, perhaps to the outside, down towards Mulsanne corner. He's going the long grey round. Can he break late a brakes? A what brilliant move there down towards Mulsanne corner, and Neil behind is going to be opportunistic and get the move done on Shantan as well. So finally he can stop staring at the back of that Alpine. And the Alpines stay going from bad to worse. He's going to have to sit behind Gianni for now, see if he can get that place back. Obviously, in this position of the race, no points on offer, so it's just about having fun. And Dan is just going to stay behind him. But I don't know what Durrani has had to... That's pit stop, but he is flying. Would have been great to see some of his pace. Well, we did see some of that pace earlier on in the race. Perhaps in the slightly hotter conditions, the Cadillac working a little bit better. And to see how this Cadillac teammate of Bamber does, whether he can get past Van Thor in the last 5 or so minutes of this race. See here Bamber charging down towards the BMW ahead, who's just overtaking some GT3 traffic. Doesn't affect him too much there. Porsche separated by good gap, and it looks like Buemi has Conway at 4 seconds now, the gap between the Toyota duo. As we have about 30 seconds between ourselves and Kubica. Bit of a look there from Van Thor, maybe feeling the Cadillac, seeing them in his mirrors. Not far behind at all. He is absolutely flown away from this pair. bit of a battle as well down the back end between our teammate Bortoletti and Oliver Rasmussen. And this has thrown a spanner to the Vanthorpe is into the pit for a very late pit stop. Have BMW got the all wrong? That's going to drop him down out the points. What a disaster there for Vanthorpe. We'll have to wait if anyone else has to come in pit. I would imagine we'll see where Kubica is, but I would imagine be one more lap after this. Kubica coming down towards Malta corner there, so I would imagine there'll be one more lap after this, but that is disastrous for the BMW. Vanthorpe dropping out the points, currently 11th, moves Kevin Estra up into the top 10. BMW getting the fuel strategy wrong. We'll move up this field to see if anyone else needs to pit on this this penultimate lap. Wouldn't it be? It would be an absolute disaster if of course, have messed up their pit stop strategy. But we'll have to wait and see whether Kubica dives off into the pit lane. I'm pretty sure we've got on field to the end. Coming through the Porsche curves now. Quite a few drivers at the back of the pack are pitting, so Kubica might pull into the pits there. No, he doesn't. He's going to continue on for his final lap of this race. Coming through the Ford chicane. The penultimate time. One more lap for Kubica to secure the win here. We'll double check that we're not going to dive into the pits. Hopefully this doesn't ruin our race as well. But I think we should be all good. No pit stop needed. What about the Toyotas behind? Is this going to play into the podium battle? The Toyota, well, at least the Buemi Toyota is all good. The Conway Toyota, Conway's pitting. So it seems like those drivers who were on a slightly earlier strategy, it's not worked out for them as they've had to pit again. Conway will be furious that he's been put on the wrong strategy. Let's see what happens with the Porsches, because I'm pretty sure they need to pit as well. The number 5 Porsche of Campbell is in. What about the 4 Porsche of Chamonix is in as well? So late drama here. The Ferrari of Fuoco, obviously going a bit longer, going pretty much 2 laps longer than anyone else, has stayed out. I would imagine his teammate stayed out as well. So Ferrari have pulled a blinder here with their strategy. Maybe dropping off, not having the pace, but able to go that lap longer. And overtake both Porsches in the pits. What a strategy there by Bamber is in. So that work Bamber did. Is Kevin Estra going to come in as well? Or is he reap the benefits, reap some good luck from the pit stops? Kevin Estra drives into pits, so he won't be able to gain that benefit. Toyota of Conway's finally... And... I'm speechless. The Porsche of Campbell and Jaminet have jumped Conway, even though Conway was miles ahead of them. The Porsche duo have jumped Conway. That is a disaster for the number 7 Toyota. We're going towards the front of the field now as Kubica comes through Indianapolis for the final time. A superb race here by Robert Kubica, obviously led from the start. Had obviously 1 or 2 laps where he pitted and one of the Ferraris stayed out. One of the other Ferraris stayed out even. But he has done excellently through the weather. Just pulling a gap every stint. 35 seconds back to us through the Porsche curves. No traffic in front of him. Well, on the car, but slightly off, but I don't think he's going to catch him. Just a handful of corners left to go as Kubica comes towards the forward chicane for the final time. And the 83 AF Corsa is going to win the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Well done, Robert Kubica, coming across the line. The winner of the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. We are going to follow him through in 2nd place. So a great, would have been nice to get the win, but considering where we started all the way down in 18th, making some good time up during the rain-affected portions of this race, I think we can be happy with a 2nd place. That's going to do wonders for our championship. We come through the Ford chicane for the fun, and we are going to get 2nd place in the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. So what a fantastic 2.4 hours of Le Mans we had there. As is normally the case, the finishing order changed from what we saw on screen there. Maybe some penalties, post-race penalties being applied. But we had Kubica winning, so he's jumped up to 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship, and is now 11 on points with Buemi. So really fantastic for Kubica, puts him right in the championship charge. We extend our lead to 24 points over the pair of Buemi and Kubica. Buemi obviously getting 3rd there, so gaining quite a few points as well. Buemi looking to be our closest championship challenger, even though he didn't score points in Imola and Monza. Fuoco, in the first of the factory Ferraris, has slipped down the grid order a little bit, or down the pecking order a little bit, and is followed by his teammate of Pierre Guidi. Chatan not having a good race, not scoring points, really going to hamper his championship standings. Conway, again, good points, is on level terms with the Alpine. Obviously, like I said before, might join his and Maria Lopez's scores together because they're both in the number 7 car. Kevin Estre scoring a few points there to lead the championship challenge for Penske Porsche. Bamber ending up in 9th place, scoring a few points, and unfortunately Jaminet only scoring 2 points at the end. But all 3 Porsches scoring, or all 3 Penske Porsches scoring, which is good. Again, no points for the Jota Porsches. The Proton competition of Neil Jani, neither of the Alpine scoring. Bennett obviously retiring quite early on, and the Peugeots also having a poor race. Onto the teams. Toyota extend their lead. Well, still in the lead. We actually close up quite a bit, so we're now only 4 points behind them. The factory Ferrari is only a further 9 points behind us. The win for AF Corsa has caused them to jump up quite significantly ahead of Alpine. Le Mans having a big impact on the on the teams championships. Porsche scoring a good chunk of points as well. They are not too far behind the Alpine, so it'll be interesting to see who can get 5th place between those two. Cadillac scoring a few more points here. Still about 8 off of BMW, so it'll be interesting to see who can win that battle. And Peugeot and Isardo Fresquini still yet to score any points. In the manufacturers, as you can imagine, Ferrari pull an even bigger gap with the AF Corsa Ferrari's win. Toyota not too far behind them, and then we are just 4 points behind Toyota. So bear in mind, I've scored all the points for Lamborghini. I think that's a pretty good manufacturer's battle for us so far. Porsche are now ahead of the Alpine team. So interesting how it flips and flops between the manufacturers and teams. Cadillac, behind BMW. And then the Peugeot and Isardo Fresquini yet to score points. So that has been the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. If you did enjoy, smash that like button, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the race. If you enjoyed the slightly extended races, have a great weekend. And I'll see you next time for the 45-minute sprint at Bahrain.